Hey friends! Today I want to share with you a little pharmacy hack that helped me to get my generic EpiPen twin pack for $5. I think this hack could also be helpful for getting any medication for a cheaper price. About 2 years ago, I started having some allergic reactions that warranted being prescribed an EpiPen. When I got to the pharmacy to pick up my EpiPen prescription for the first time, they told me that it would be over $300 to fill the prescription. With that price quote, I didn't have to think twice. I couldn't afford that, so I walked away from the prescription and decided that I didn't need it that badly. There was no way that I could pay that much money, especially not on a recurring basis. Epinephrine auto-injectors usually expire within 6 months to a year and have to be discarded whether you've used them or not. After I rejected that prescription, I never went back to the allergist who prescribed it because Matt and I moved to a different state. Then we had a bunch of stuff going on, so it took me a while to get back to a new allergist. Meanwhile, I just suffered through some really scary near anaphylaxis situations with Benadryl and doing the best I could. But I knew that it wasn't safe, so I brought up the issue with my new allergist when I got established with one here in Michigan. She said, yeah, you really should have an EpiPen. I'll write you a prescription. This time I had done a little bit of research, so I knew that you could ask for a generic version of whatever prescription you were given, in most cases. So after the doctor wrote this prescription, I went to the pharmacy. They again told me it would be some $365 to fill the prescription, and I asked for a generic instead of the brand name EpiPen. The pharmacist looked at the package and she said, "This is the generic." So then I was really confused. Was I actually prescribed the generic originally, and that was what that $365 quote was? But she said that actually there was a special coupon for the EpiPen brand that brought it down to the same price as the generic. The generic is also made by the EpiPen manufacturers. It just doesn't have the EpiPen label on it. It's the exact same thing from the same manufacturer and the same price. At least according to the first pharmacy that I went to. So for the second time, I walked away from the pharmacy counter without filling my epinephrine prescription. But luckily, I had some allergy issues and had to see my allergist again a couple months later, and I brought the issue up and I said, this is just unaffordable. How am I supposed to fill this prescription? And she said, okay, I will write you the most generic prescription possible, and hopefully with that, they will know that they can give you anything. They can give you the Epinephrine version, which is another form of epinephrine auto-injector. They can give you anything they have that's affordable. So I'll write it as generically as possible. My allergist understood what a financial burden it would be for me to get this medication, but she also really wanted to make it clear that it was important for me to have around. With that new prescription in hand, I felt confident, so I went back to the pharmacy and said, can you fill this one with a cheaper option? And for the third time, I was quoted the exact same price for this, the generic version of EpiPen made by the EpiPen company. I thought, this is impossible. And I had remembered reading a Consumer Reports article about how CVS had some really great coupons to get the Epinephrine auto-injector for, I think, about $100. And I thought, $365 versus $100, I think I can do that. I'll give that a try. So I called my original pharmacy and I asked them to transfer the prescription over to CVS. They couldn't do that. CVS had to call them and get the prescription. But I called CVS, they got it, and I kid you not, within an hour, they called me and said that this generic EpiPen auto-injector twin pack was ready for me and that it would be $5. $5! Not $100, which I was willing to shell out if I really had to, but $5 for a twin pack that doesn't expire for a year. I honestly couldn't believe it and thought there was some kind of mistake, and so when we went to pick it up, I was amazed that it actually was $5. That's all they asked me for. I know everyone has different insurance, so I can't guarantee you that you will be able to get your epinephrine auto-injectors for exactly $5, but I hope this video empowers you to shop around at different pharmacies and not just take the first pharmacy's price at face value. Now the financial burden and the worry about being stuck in a really serious health crisis without the medication I need are both alleviated. The important thing about this hack is that I used the same insurance for both pharmacies and they came back with different numbers. So don't be afraid to go to a different pharmacy, check elsewhere. The website GoodRx is really helpful for this. I didn't use it for this particular situation, but I've used it for other medications, so that's a good idea. But just check around. If you don't have access to the internet, just call your local pharmacy, call the pharmacy next door, and see what they can do for you if the first pharmacy that you try doesn't work out. And don't worry that you don't have the paper prescription in hand. I worried a lot about that when I had already turned the prescription over to the first pharmacy, or it had just been called in from my doctor's office, that I couldn't get it back and take it somewhere else. You can. You'll likely never see a piece of paper, but you can have it transferred from one pharmacy to another. So don't let the lack of a physical copy of the prescription hold you back from trying other pharmacies to get a price that's better. If this hack was helpful to you, let me know by giving this video a thumbs up or writing a comment in the comment section. I plan on doing plenty more of these hack videos to help you get what you need and to live a life that is comfortable and healthy. So if you like what you see, you can subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon, and then you'll be notified when I put out similar content. See you next time.